Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'd like to talk about the month of September and what we can expect, because many things are transpiring and occurring from the aftermath of this recent solar eclipse that just occurred on August 21st. This total solar eclipse really marked a portion in the sky that when other planets transit over, it creates big events. And we currently are having big events in the United States, because remember, in the United States, that's where the eclipse path occurred, going across the middle of the United States. Therefore, there will be probably the most havoc and problems occurring here in the United States. So from August 25th through September 1st, we have Mars coming together with Rahu, and they are Gandanta. What does Gandanta mean? You've heard me speak this many times. When planets are Gandanta, they are in the very last degrees of a water sign or the very early degrees of a fire sign. And what Gandanta literally translates to is drowning. Now, with that connotation, it predicts floods, storms, hurricanes. And that is exactly what I predicted last month in my August predictions, that we would have one of the worst hurricane seasons this fall, August and September, which is exactly what is happening now. And, and when we think about drowning, it's about being out of control. You feel like you can't get a hold of things. And that's essentially what's been happening throughout the world. Everything feels out of control. The emotions of the people, the masses, there's crisis, there's protests, there's polarization happening all over the world. And people, because of their emotions, create natural disasters on Earth, whether it be earthquakes, storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, all of the above. And now, currently, we are faced with one of the worst hurricanes, worst natural disasters that have hit the United States in a century. This Hurricane Harvey is occurring right now as I speak, and I know the aftermath of this hurricane will be very destructive. I warned many people in my Facebook page, which is my professional page, is Joni Patry, Vedic Astrologer. I warned people to please take heed of this storm. It's going to result in being worse than expected. And so as I speak, it's about, in the beginning phases, the rain is coming down. I'm here in Texas, I'm here in Dallas. And here in Dallas, we're just getting rain. It's not being affected like the southeast part of the coastal area of Texas. So the destruction is going on now. Now, Gandanta planets generally do mean drowning. As a matter of fact, I find it very interesting when I look at charts of individuals and they have a planet Gandanta, which generally is the last degrees of water, early fire, but it can be around 29 degrees of Scorpio, 29 degrees of Pisces, and 29 degrees of Cancer. And I have personally found 29 degrees of Cancer to be the most treacherous and represent drowning. As a matter of fact, if you look at Natalie Wood's chart, the famous, beautiful actress who drowned in the 80s, and it looks like a very suspicious type situation from drinking and being on her yacht. She drowned, and in her birth chart, she has Mercury at 29 degrees of Cancer, which is where Mars and Rahu are right now. So the storm is not over, and this is literally and figuratively. So also thinking about these planets, Gandanta planets, not only is Mars and Rahu here, but Saturn is too. Saturn's about 27, 28 degrees of Scorpio, and it will continue to be Gandanta, causing out of control behavior and situations all the way through about mid-November of this year, 2017. So it will change signs. Saturn will finally change signs out of Scorpio October 26th. Then it will move on into Sagittarius, which means it's coming together then with Pluto, which is another difficult scenario, which means a breakdown in affairs with governments, world governments, and the world. Things that need to change will change. This is a given. So looking at this hurricane, I have talked to many people around the world, and so many people are experiencing floods. There was a hurricane that hit Hong Kong about a week ago. Then we had floods in Kansas here in the US. People in Nepal and in India and around the world, they're experiencing floods, extreme floods and rain, almost like it's almost symbolic of tears from the heavens, that this needs a cleansing and people need to come together through all of this. Now this solar eclipse degree, which occurred at 4 degrees Leo, remember I'm using the Vedic sidereal placements, not the tropical Western, at 4 degrees of Leo, transiting Mars is going to cross over this degree around September 3rd and 4th. Whenever we have a solar eclipse degree, it stays like a landmine, and they're actually active for 6 months to a year after an eclipse. But when other planets cross over these points, things erupt, things happen. And when Mars crossed over the previous solar eclipse degree in the year of 2001, it was September 11th. So Mars crossed over the previous eclipse degree on September 11th, 2001. And September 3rd and 4th, Mars will cross over this degree again. And this time it is in the sign of Leo, which can represent major upheaval with presidents and leaders all over the world, because that's the degree of leaders. It's almost exactly conjunct the fixed star Regulus, which is symbolic of kings, leaders, presidents. So with this, yes, President Donald Trump is in trouble, and things will happen that will bring up more and more difficulty for him during this month of September. And I might add that this degree mark, 4 degrees of Leo, is actually where Mercury will station and turn direct from being retrograde most of the month of August, causing all sorts of mishaps and upheavals and miscommunications throughout the month. But Mercury will turn direct September 5th, right on the solar eclipse degree. And this will bring out all sorts of miscommunications, misunderstandings, but at least now things will be able to progress and move forward for the next part of the year, even though the last part of the year, even though it will not be easy. It cannot be easy. Now, another aspect that's going to be happening around the early part of September is that Neptune is going to be opposed the Sun. And this is about the degree, the same day that we have Mercury and Mars, by the way, conjuncting each other. This is radical anger in arguments and speaking to others. Please do not provoke anyone around this time. This is a time of anger and frustration with Mars and Mercury conjoined on the solar eclipse degree. People are going to be enraged. And I might add that Mercury turns direct. The day that Mercury goes retrograde or direct, there's all sorts of crazy things going on because it's a time of change. Now remember, the Mercury retrograde periods are a time for us to go back and reassess things, reanalyze things, and look at where things need to change. And of course, I think with all of the protest and uproar that was happening in the South in the United States, this was an opportunity for us to go back and revisit some things that need to change. And for the most part, to let go of and to move forward. And as the planets move forward, that is what will happen. Now, another very interesting thing that I feel like is happening during this month is September 24th. Watch when Neptune and Mars will be in opposition to each other. And of course, this is going to surface more of the deception that Neptune has been surfacing by the fact that Neptune throughout the past year has been with the eclipse, which means surfacing of things that are secret and unknown. And this can only lead to opportunities for healing when we have the facts that arise. But one thing I think will happen from this is oil prices, gas prices will rise. Now that's good news for those of you that are investing or have invested in oil and gas stocks. As I have told you, this was the stock over the past year to get involved with. And as well as on September 20th, we have a new moon where Mercury is opposed Neptune. So a lot of things are coming out that we didn't know about. And that also goes to your personal life. What is it that can be revealed to you that can help you change your life and make your future much, much better? Another thing is there's going to be this period over the second part of September where things are going to feel very faded, a certain destiny that is transpiring throughout the month of September. Watch for this, because by September 20th, at the time of the new moon, and right after, you're going to find that the moon and the moon will come together. And by that time, with Rahu. So actually, the moon will conjunct Rahu September 16th. And after that point in time, all the planets are on one side of Rahu and Ketu. We call this a Kala Sarpa Yoga. Actually means, Kala means time, Sarpa means serpent. So it's the time serpent yoga. And we're going to feel like the things that occur are like things that will make the history books. Fated destiny is occurring during this month. This is a very poignant month for events that will change the future of our planet. So another thing is, because Rahu and Ketu have just changed, Rahu is gone into Cancer, Ketu's gone into Capricorn. Cancer's all about protection, security. And people are going to be feeling less and less secure in the world. But one thing you can invest in, if you're interested in investing, would be stocks that deal with weapons, things of war. And therefore, I predict a good stock to invest in would be Boeing, because this cry for protection will increase their need to produce, and stock will go up. So another thing, another huge thing. See, this month, Rahu and Ketu change signs, and that is, by the way, using the true node, not the mean node, because the mean node is not truly where it is, but it just takes the mean of the motion of Rahu and Ketu and puts it to where it moves 1.5 degrees per month. But if you look at the true movement of Rahu and Ketu, they go back and forth, and around the time of eclipses, they stand still for almost 3 months, and then they move at record speed. But the fact of the matter is that they will move, and they're right at the cusp of moving into a new sign right now, the month of September. And it's actually around the 8th or 9th that the true nodes do change. Rahu moves into Cancer and Ketu goes into Capricorn. Also this month, Jupiter will go into Libra. This will be around September 11th, where it will remain for about a solid year, all the way from September of 2017 till October of 2018. And with this change, you're going to find with Jupiter and Libra, people are going to want to come together. They're going to want to find justice. They're going to want to find harmony, balance. But I'll tell you something about when Jupiter does go into Libra. Libra is an air sign. And I find that when Jupiter or Rahu and Ketu, they transit into air signs, the weather is colder during the winter months. And there is more extreme weather. It's hotter, more extreme heat, but more extreme cold. And there are winds, and there are more tornadoes, there's more storms, but heavy, heavy winds with Jupiter being in Libra. But there will be a need to find more balance and find more peace. People will be striving to compromise, come together, to not be so polarized as they have in the past. It will bring a sense of peace. Now, Rahu and Ketu shifting in Cancer, Capricorn, this you would think would have a negative effect on the economy, but actually, if we go back to the last time that Rahu was in Cancer and Ketu was in Capricorn, it was the year of 1999 and the year of 2000. That was the time of the dot-com boom. Everything, the stocks were sky high. I don't believe there's going to be a correction to the stock market yet. We've got a ways to go. Because just as around the time of 1999, 2000, while everything was exploding into great high prices for the stock market, that's what I see happening throughout this year and part of next. But when we get to the year of 2019 into 2020, look out. That is the time to pull back. That's the time I believe there's going to be great destruction and the stock market will have a fall. So that's where I see things headed right now. Now, one more thing I want to add that's very, very important that's happening this month is that Pluto is stationing. This is towards the end of the month. Pluto will station on September 28th at around 22 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, this is important because in the United States chart that I use, the sun is 22 degrees of Gemini. And this can represent some major hits and problems and control and power dealing with leaders around the world. And of course, I'm talking about all leaders. And if you want to specifically look at the United States, Donald Trump, this will be a huge, impactful year for leaders. Change is coming. Transformation is coming. The world is never going to be the same because when we have the Saturn coming together with Pluto, it's always some kind of breakdown in the government and problems in governments. But now we have a global world. So everything is affecting everyone around the world. So with this, you're going to find that this month, there is a certain fated destiny that is occurring. So with that, I'd like to close. And if you would like more information about me, you can always go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. And if you'd like to learn Vedic astrology, go to my university, University of Vedic Astrology.com. And if you would like a transcript of this material that I speak of monthly, you can always find it in my magazine, which is astrologicmagazine.com. Thank you.